Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Let me just give my thoughts about what's happening on the other side of the world, basically the Eurasian region. And let's start off with the fact that deglobalizing trend is strong and it's happening, right? We see that different supplies and different manufacturing and different relationships are sort of breaking down, right? If you look at German industry and European industry and the European economy, it looks like Europe of all of this war is the biggest loser. Besides, of all the countries, it seems like the Eurozone will be interestingly weakened the most in this power struggle with the zones of the North America, Asia, and the Eurozone. The Eurozone, where it could benefit anywhere, is now being pushed and more being pushed to a point where they are being forced to maybe go along with the North American region, right? What I'm seeing is that it's going to be a continued deterioration for, I think, Europe. I think that, you just never know. They might, parts of Europe might be more involved with the war, right? It seems that the US pressure on the region of Europe is strong and will continue to be strong and will continue to want to push for non-negotiation with Russia, right? They want to push for continued conflict, at least in the Ukrainian region, right? To push Ukrainians against Russians, right? We're going to see a lot of these companies not be able to. They have to, I think, lower some of their prices on whatever they're selling, whatever their product is, and whatever their services are. And I think that when you see a horizontal, that kind of a pressure downwards when it comes to prices, decreases in prices, what we'll begin to see is something like, let's say, Tesla, where Tesla cars, they recently came out and they said that they were going to reprice all their vehicles, right, down lower. Companies not only will continue to see these price repricings and price drops with, let's say, for example, Tesla, but if you look at the European companies, their outlook, you try to figure out how are some of these European companies going to actually make it, how are the European companies manufacturing going to lay out, because remember, a lot of their manufacturing was in China, right? But what's happening? They're saying that the European manufacturing has to leave, they have to go. So then where would they go if not in that region, where at that scale and at that time limit? But not only that, the energy to do all that for let's say Germany, how are they going to figure all of that out? And this is why, if you haven't seen some other speakers or let's say geopolitical strategists, they are coming out and saying that companies such as BMW will not exist, right? They're saying that German industries, that's going to be it, or it's possible that a large European industrial base is not gonna do well. We're gonna see more and more of this. Obviously, we're seeing continued layoffs. We will begin to see the markets then react, right? I think the markets have made a bounce, let's say a bear market bounce. But the thing is that with the issues going on in the Eastern Europe and the differences between US and Russia, US and China still going on, I don't quite believe that this is a point where the setting could just turn around and bounce and we could start a new cycle. In fact, I think that we may be bouncing and bounce a little bit sideways, but it's possible that we do see that drawdown scenario, right? Now, this drawdown scenario seems to be likely going to be a credit event, right? It seems that things that have been happening around the world has brought it down to a certain level, but it seems to be a board that's not breaking. But that board might break when we see the things happening around in the world where the Chinese economy is under pressure, the Europe is in the great pressure, and obviously the US will be affected. It seems that something might happen somewhere in the world. So if you've watched my videos, the suspicion that I had was that we are going to be dropping this first half of the year, bouncing back up, and then everything goes tries again one more time. And if you look at let's say the crypto markets, overall, all of that stuff with Barry Silbert is still going on, right? It's not even figured out. We actually don't know in detail, like what happened with the others, exactly what's going on. And with FTX, it's also we actually don't know how deep and wide it is. It's still there. And so to think that the crypto markets are going to be going back all the way full new cycle, can it be irrational, or can it actually run to a certain point and then get knocked back down? Yeah, that's for sure. But as far as if I believe this is a upward trajectory, no matter what, with any elevators down, I don't believe so. Just be aware of that. And that's my thoughts on the markets. And the thoughts on the war is that if you look at the casualty numbers, or supposed casualty numbers, right? The accuracy of this is going to be very difficult to try and find. If we look at this war, it seems that it will for sure continue to go on, right? The West has high interest in this thing continuously going on. The preparation, if you look at the Poland and Europe, is that this will involve them soon, right? And then right now it's quite a sort of a distance of, let's say, exchange of, let's say, products of weapons and whatnot. But the thing is, there seems to be quite a lot of movements for active involvement, right? At least in Poland, right? If you try and stop and think, wait, why? Look at the markets, look at the economy, the global economy, and look at the military movements, military buildups. You'll begin to realize that this is fourth turning. It's beginning. Like I said, 2020, 2021, 2022, those were pre-game years. Now we're really getting into it, and people will realize the volatility is not something that they can sort of try and control, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up is that, leverage use in this from now on is not, I don't think is going to be the same way, right? And leverage use, I've talked about leverage before, not just in trading, but leverage in your life. If you have 5 different cars when you don't need them, hurry up and cut some of them off, right? If you have like all these multiple houses but you don't need them, maybe you want to reduce that debt. Watch the leverage use, because I think what's going to happen is that the snappings of what's going to result this later on years of the war, we actually don't know what that might look like, right? Your risk awareness should be much higher, and understand that all the stuff that everybody was talking about, the fourth turning, oh my goodness, can this be World War III? All of that stuff, that can materialize quickly. And remember, this is 2023, and so that in this year is the beginning of basically the US elections, right? Or we're going to start to see really big ramp ups of the coming 2024 elections. And if you haven't noticed, Trump actually came out and he said that he was going to actually run for 2024. And we see the buildup of party on the right, where there seems to be different movements, different factions, and the DeSantis and Trump. And then we're beginning to see a third party movement coming, growing, the Forward Party, right, with Andrew Yang. And so now we're beginning to see this 2023 sort of whirlpool happening, right? It's beginning. From here on out, there might not be that much rest, right? I know many of you probably did not have a lot of rest, because one thing happened after another. But from here on out, especially, it's going to be very, quick. Simplify your life as much as possible. That'll help. Keep aware that we are in 2023. You're going to feel the pressure build, right? You're going to feel and see it around you, these sorts of things happening, and you're going to know it. Your neighbors are going to know it, and we're all going to know about it, and we're probably going to talk about it, right? So just keep aware of that. Other than that, with all that said, keep aware, understand what's going on, and understand that maybe other people aren't as aware as you, and so that you and your knowledge and information can be quite valuable, and you might be sharing that with other people that don't know what's going on, and they're going to be lost, and they're going to be looking for help, and that help might be you. So keep that in mind. Understand that what you're doing by keeping aware is not just for you, it could be for other people as well. And with that said, good luck.